Hello vlog passengers, and welcome to part 2 of my review of My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult. A couple of you made note of the fact that I am doing the second part of this review on a Friday. That is not a mistake. Let me begin by saying that I was fully prepared to like this book. I was fully prepared to give it a good review, to say that it was a strong, well-written story, to basically give the review that I gave on Monday. Now, this is the only Jodi Picoult novel that I've read, and so I don't know if this is a normal thing for her, but this book represents a perfect example of how an author can put together a good, strong, powerful story and then completely botch it in the last 2 chapters. If you're unfamiliar with the story, then first of all, spoiler warning, Anna is fighting this court case against her parents for medical emancipation so that she can choose whether or not to donate a kidney to her sister who's dying of renal failure. She is eventually granted this medical emancipation, so is now faced with a decision of whether or not to donate this kidney. All the loose ends have been tied up, the story has closure, it's pretty much done. And then out of nowhere, Anna dies in a car accident. In the second to last chapter of the book. No setup, no nothing, she just dies. This is just bad, crummy, sloppy storytelling in an otherwise very good story. I mean, this was meant to elicit an emotional response. You're supposed to have become so invested in this character that you feel horrible when she dies. But all I felt was confusion and frustration at the horrible storytelling. It didn't even feel like the same story to me. It felt like we'd entered into a completely different story. It's almost as if Jodi Picoult got to the end of her novel and decided that this scenario, with Anna having to decide whether to donate her kidney to Kate, thereby prolonging her pain and suffering, or not donate her kidney to Kate and have to watch her die of renal failure due to the leukemia, she decided that this scenario just wasn't depressing enough. And I know what some of you will say, Matt, people die pointless deaths all the time. And Jodi Picoult was just trying to stay true to real life. True, but I would say this. 1, this is a story. This isn't real life. I don't need a story to tell me what I already know to be true in real life. I have real life for that. You can't have pointless deaths in a story, at least not in this way. You have to set it up. 2, if this was indeed the way that she wanted the book to end, she could have done this a lot better. Probably the best way would have been to have Anna die due to complications of the surgery that she was having to give her kidney to Kate. That would have elicited an emotional response and it would have been a more acceptable ending to me. Hell, it would have been an acceptable ending if she had just ended it before those last 2 chapters. I mean, that's how bad this ending is. I would prefer an ending without closure to the ending that I got. 3, if we're going to talk about real life and implausibility, then how implausible is it that Kate was just magically cured after Anna died? And 4, if we're going to talk about pointless deaths, let's remember, please, that this is a story about a girl with leukemia. Anyone who has ever had to watch a child suffer through having cancer knows that you can't get much more pointless than that. So like I said, I was prepared to like this book and give it a good review and recommend it, but based solely on these last 2 chapters, I'm not recommending this book. Unless you just stop short of reading the last 2 chapters, which you could do, you won't have lost anything in the narrative. So Jodi, let me help you out here, because I know you're totally watching. You're a good writer. You put together a really strong, powerful story. You had already elicited an emotional response. You didn't have to resort to this cheap trick. You're better than that. And on that note, I'll see y'all later. Bye.